What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Are you guys looking for one of the strongest RC cars in the world? Something that you can absolutely just beat on, trash, and then just put away and do it again? Looking for an awesome RC car anyways, guys. This is going to be something you can just go to your local hobby shop and pick up for under $300. Ready to run, comes with a lipo, comes with a remote, all this ready to go. You can see this is straight out of the box, 4-wheel drive. Just really quickly, guys, under the hood, it has 10th scale size axles, 10th scale size shocks, 10th scale size servo. You could put 10th scale size ESC and motor combos in the truck. Guys, it's absolutely amazing. Yes, it is all plastic and it has some pretty low grade electronics in it, including the radio. But nonetheless, guys, this truck is absolutely a beast. And, well, we do have one already. We went out and bought number 2 because they are absolutely one of the strongest cars we've ever had. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and upgrade it right out of the box. I just want to mention, you guys can find all these parts on my website. I will leave a link in the description below. I believe I have these in all colors still available. And then we also have all these planetary gears available as well. And we also have the axles. We're not going to do the axles today on this truck, but we are going to do a couple of other parts like the hinge pin kit. Just like we do on our MAXX and our XRT, this is going to be captured with a nut on one side. And then we're still running in direct drive. Obviously, we're not going to change that up on this, so we're going to run this 47 tooth. This is mod 0.8, and this is going to be our medium carbon steel spur gear. And we're also going to run these 7075 GPM Nerf bars. They go on the side of the truck right here. Pretty simple to install and not adding a whole lot of weight. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. I will leave a link for all this stuff to my web store below. So let's start wrenching. First thing, go ahead and take off your tires. That way we can get to the hinge pins. You're going to need to take off the center hole piece right here. You're going to have one screw there, and you're going to have one screw up here in front of the RX box. Now if you're wondering why the center hole piece here won't come out, you're going to have to get a X-Acto knife so you can cut your sticker and you can get it apart. Now you got your rear diff housing cover off. You can take out the center shaft and replace the spur. This is going to be the part number TXMM047TS-BK. You'll find these parts on my website. I ship out of Washington State, guys. Same day. There we go. Check that out. It says GPM on there. It's a mod 0.8, and this is 47 tooth, just like the stock. GPM medium carbon steel. You can only put the gear on one direction. Super simple. Reinstall your pinion, and don't forget the bearing in there. And then check it out, we're going to go ahead and remove the stock diff and replace it with the brand new 7075 GPM. These cases are going to be part number TXMM011-B because it's blue. Here is the case. Check that out. Super nice. Extra strength. When it heats up, you know, or if it does heat up, which it's not going to heat up because it's just such a small truck, it would disperse in the case. So if you guys like, you know, do some mod motors and whatnot, mod ESCs, you might get this thing spinning pretty fast. But this is super high quality. There is the GPM logo right there on top. Super nice. So let's go ahead. Let me show you the planetary gears. So that's part number TXMM1200S-BK. And this is what you're going to get in your planetary gear package. Again, medium carbon steel. It's going to come with your gasket. And this one's actually, let's get this out of here. And there are our planetary gears and our outdrive slash, they're not spider gears, they're planetary gears, and our pins. So that's what you're going to get inside your package. You're going to need to use the stock bearings and ring gear, so take those off. Check it out, there we go. We got it all installed. Last thing you're going to do is go ahead and add some udder butter or some grease to your gasket. And then we're going to go ahead and fill this bad boy up with 5K. This is Team Associated 5000 CST. Also, now because you're going into an aluminum case, don't forget you're going to need to add a little bit of Loctite to all 4 of your screws. When you go to reassemble your ring gear back onto the case, you're going to use the little 8mm M3s that come in the diff case. Just make sure they're all snug. You don't want to tighten them down super tight. You do have a gasket in there. Make sure your gasket is not sticking out the side. And then go ahead and make sure your planetary gears are spinning nice and free, and you guys are ready to go. Slap your bearings back on, your axles back on, and this can go back inside the truck. Before you throw it back in the truck, go ahead and add some udder butter to your ring gear. Just take a little bit on your finger and just spread it right around that ring gear. And guys, this is going to help protect it when it gets wet inside. It's going to protect the gears, the metal from becoming rusty, and it's just going to ensure a nice smooth performance inside your diff. Guys, it doesn't have to be pretty, but it is functional and you are ready to go. Go ahead, screw your diff housing cover back into place. Just make sure it's spinning nice and free. Now you're ready to reinstall your hinge pins. GPM kit comes with 6 in the front and 6 in the rear, and they are actually labeled with an R and an F. Comes with the pins as well as the nylon lock nuts. 12 pins, 12 nuts. Easiest way I found to install these is just grab yourself a small pair of needle nose pliers, and then you can screw them in from the back. It's going to take an M5 hex head wrench, and that little tool that comes in your truck you can use to tighten these bad boys up. So you don't want to put them on super tight, you just want to put them on and snug it up. And then you're going to also just want to make sure that your suspension is moving nice and free still. In the front and the rear, you're going to get some longer ones. In the front, you're going to get 4, but in the rear, you're only going to get 2 long ones. Those 2 long ones are going to go in the top 2 hinge pin holes and the top arms. The other 4 pins are going to go on the left and the right, upper and lower, holding on the rear hub. I don't really think it matters which direction you put the pin in the hub. We're going to go ahead and put the pin facing toward the rear, so coming in from the back. And then we're going to put the lock nut on the inside, facing the front of the chassis. And then you're going to use the bottom 2 stock hinge pins since there's nowhere to put a lock nut, so go ahead, reinstall your axle back into the outdrive, and then you can go ahead and install this stock pin, screw it in place, and you'd be good to go. I don't think I said it when I did the front diff, or the rear diff anyways, but once you get your parts, you're all excited, you got brand new bling bling and 7075 aluminum for your truck, you start taking it apart, and then you just rip everything apart and you don't remember exactly how it goes back together. You guys are going to look at the TRAXXAS manual and it's going to be super frustrating. So guys, at this point, When you do take this apart, I highly suggest you make sure you see which direction all the gears and the little spacers and the pins go. All the pins go, and you know there's only 4 spots for pins, but the planetary gears, there is a certain orientation for the little spacer that you're going to get in your package, and the gears as well. So definitely pay attention when you take this apart. Once you get to this point, just go ahead and nice and slowly, you want to make sure that your gears are all coming off inside the case. That's what I did, just to make sure I got everything facing in the right direction. And I say that because there's little black spacers in there, and well, let's just say it's not super easy to rebuild if you've never done it before. So definitely make sure you know where your pieces go. You're going to need to go inside your diff case and grab these little blue O-rings as well before you start assembling the new planetary gears. And by the way, that is where the short little pin goes in between these 2 gears, holding that together. I can help try to make this a little bit easier by showing you guys the inside of the case. And if you look where the pins go, one side is kind of stepped up and one side is all the way down to the bottom of the case. The one that's all the way down to the bottom of the case, you're going to put your gear, and then you're going to put your spacer. The part where it's stepped up, you're going to put your spacer, or you're going to put your pin and your gear. It's going to look just like that. And then you're going to do just the opposite on the other side. So you're going to put your gear where it goes all the way down, and then your spacer will go on top of that gear. Make sure it goes all the way down. There we go. And then the last planetary gear is going to go where it steps up. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. There you go. You can see it turns. And then we're going to go ahead and fill this up again, also with 5,000 weight, just like we did in the rear. And we're going to put that right to the top, right to the bottom side of the spacer, and we're going to call that good. Work it in, let it sit for a bit. You should be good to go. The last step before you put it together, don't forget to put your O-ring back in and grease it up a little bit with a little bit of udder butter. That'll help it to keep from leaking. There's nothing holding this in place, it just goes right over the screw holes. Remember, Loctite your ring gear back into place. 2 more upgrades to the truck, and that is going to finish it off for today. We're going to go ahead and install these wheel hex. They're going to be the same width as the stock. They are like a C-clamp type. They come with the hardware and the pins, and then we're going to go ahead and install the sidebar. So let's go ahead and throw these bad boys on and take it out in the dirt. Last thing we got to do is charge up our battery. Check this out, guys. You guys can make this little adapter. You don't need all this mumbo jumbo, but you do have an adapter there you could use. Charge up your stock batteries, and yep, we are ready to go, guys. Don't forget, click the links below. You'll be able to find the parts in my website. I've got quite a few in stock. I got tons of XRT, tons of MAXX stuff, some MAXX stuff. I got some Sledge stuff, PNW RC Madness stuff, Trio, GPM. Guys, just a heads up, we're going to be running out of Trio. We're not going to be carrying any more Trio anymore, but we got GPM, tons of GPM, tons of minimaxx stuff. Hit me up, guys. You can find my stuff in the links below, www.pnwrcmadness.com, baby.